Welcome to the Afghanistan Spatial Data Center. In this segment, I will be talking about the statistics tool in the interactive maps. My name is Dr. Emmeline Hagen, and I'm the iMMAP Disaster Risk Reduction Program Lead. The DRR program is a USAID-funded project in which the ASDC is the data dissemination segment. The statistics tool can be found in all our interactive maps, and it also produces always the same result in each of these. So essentially we can go to any interactive maps. We simply click on View Map and wait until the initial map has built up. And then we simply click on the Statistics tool. This will appear on the right-hand side. Here we can calculate some basic information, either for entire Afghanistan, for a province or a district, or for a custom-drawn area. So let's start off with trying to calculate something for the entire country. Simply click Apply, and then we have to wait a bit. If we draw an area, that can be quite extensively. And we can see that Afghanistan, according to our data, has a population of 31 million, of which 500,000 people live in barren lands and 12.6 million in build-up areas, and a further breakdown of the various other land covers. These water bodies and marshland of 27,000 people, that happens because some settlements in the Nimruz and the Farah province marshland areas. We also have the breakdown of area in square kilometers and the total number of settlements which is utilized in the statistics. Further details about the various types of roads we have, in total 400,000 kilometers of roads, of which 3,500 are highways and 3,200 kilometers are primary roads, and then a breakdown of the various health facilities. Furthermore, you can get information on accessibility. According to our calculations, about 12 million people can reach the nearest airport within an hour. 9 million more can reach the airport within 2 hours. And then we have, let's say, the tier 2 hospitals, which includes the national hospitals, the provincial hospitals, district hospitals, as well as comprehensive health centers. And about 22.9 million people can reach the hospital with within an hour's time. And about 600,000 people need to travel more than 8 hours. Then we have some flood forecast information, which unfortunately is not very interesting at the moment, because at present and for the next 4 days, we do not have any floods, nor are any flash floods reported for the next 6 hours. We obtain this data from various sources. We'll make a different video about this. And this information was updated. It's now 22:11 was updated, a bit less than an hour ago. And the same counts for the river floods. We have static flood risk. In Afghanistan, 7.1 million people live in areas where a 100-year flood inundation can occur. About 2.6 million of these live in low flood risk areas, 2.8 in moderate, and 1.7 in high likelihood or high risk flood areas. So even if it's not a 100-year flood event, if you live in a high risk flood area, your chances will be, even at a 20-year flood event, considerably higher that you will be affected. Again, the breakdown of kilometers, and also we have 1.5 million people who live in mitigated areas. So when humanitarian agencies builds a flood wall that protects 5,000 people, and we map this data and we recalculate this data, this will be added to the mitigation population and subtracted from the static risk population. We can see here in this segment of settlements that In total, 14,000 settlements have built-up areas that lie within a flood risk zone. Avalanche forecast. At present, there are 9,000 people who live in areas where avalanches can occur because there is at present snow cover and the snow is deep enough to potentially affect them. Here you can also see that this data was updated about now an hour ago. We also have the static flood risk, avalanche risk, of which we have a population of 634,000 people generally live in areas where on any given year there might be snow and the conditions are right for avalanches to occur. And the avalanche risk depends on the topography of the higher lying area. In the last in the last statistic block, you can get information on earthquakes. We generated a separate video on it because it's a bit complicated to use this data. Now, all this information and all these statistics are also available at provincial level. And if you then click and select the province, let's say Baglan, it will zoom into Baglan. And when we then press apply, it will calculate all the statistics once again. Now, when we press reset, the draw area disappears and we can actually zoom in to a very small segment. Let's say we want to investigate flood risk, or in this case, since we have the accessibility of the tier 1 hospitals in the background, we can investigate where it might be wise to construct a new hospital. We have these two areas here. One over here and one over here. And let's assess this area based on hospital accessibility. We can simply draw an area. Of our interest, then press apply, and it will calculate the baseline data of this area. So there's approximately 20,000 people living here, of which almost none, everybody lives more than 7 hours away from the nearest hospital, but we could have deduced that from the map essentially. And for tier 2, the coverage is much better. Only 1,200 people or 1,300 people live more than 8 hours away from your nearest tier 2 hospital, which is probably acceptable. So these people are serviced by comprehensive health center. If we press reset again, and let's try to calculate the accessibility for this area. Let's press apply. Wait a bit. Since it's crossing quite a few provinces and district boundaries, this calculation can actually take 1 to perhaps 3 minutes. We can see that there's about 3,500 people living there. So it's approximately the same size. And the accessibility to the nearest tier 1 hospital, it's actually much better. Only 1,400 people live more than 7 hours away from the nearest hospital. And the same number have the same distance to the comprehensive health center. So it might be smart to, if possible, to construct an additional comprehensive health center in this area if you want to service these 1,400 people better. And naturally, we can do this for many different types of layers, such as flood layers, airport accessibility. Let's press reset. Or let's say for flood layers, we can zoom in and essentially compare two valleys with each other. If we have to spend a certain amount of money on mitigation measures in this area, let's draw it. In this district, we can compare how mitigation measures would result, how many people would potentially be affected by mitigation in this valley. And it's a bit unfair because I included the district center, which sometimes is actually not largely populated. So over here, there's 8,400 people, of which 1,500 or 17% live in flood risk areas, and about 500 live in high flood risk areas. Let's press reset and let's draw an area again. And I'll make the area a bit larger. I'll include these two valleys. Who knows what will happen? Let's press apply. And then wait a bit again until the statistics are completed. So in this area, instead of 8,000, there's only 3,000 people living, of which 25%, 735 people approximately live in flood risk zones. Now you can use this tool to plan your mitigation measures, or if an agency has constructed mitigation measures, actually assess if the claims are feasible. If somebody has built a flood wall protecting 5,000 people, but our data says that there's only 1,000 persons affected, it might be smart to investigate if that is true. And one of the tools to investigate this is naturally to actually use a Google imagery in the background. You can switch off the hillshade layer and zoom in to your area of interest, because our data will not be perfect. There will be problems with it. Sometimes we will overestimate, sometimes we will underestimate, but generally the ballpark numbers should be correct. So if the numbers are too different, one can investigate and essentially start to count the individual houses within a region. I hope this has been useful and that this statistics tool will find application in your organization. Many thanks for watching.